It's early morning. The first golden rays of sunlight slip quietly through the leaves. At a windowsill, someone stands still, watching the peaceful world outside. They've crossed the threshold of 60 in age when the chaos of life begins to settle. A quiet question drifts through their mind. Are the years ahead just a waiting game? Or could they be the beginning of something brighter, a new chapter? A real journey toward inner peace? Turning 60 is no small thing. It's a milestone, a moment steeped in ancient wisdom. The old saying goes, at 60, the ear obeys, a time to truly listen, to understand life on a deeper level. And yet, could it be that a few seemingly harmless habits, those little foolish things we brush off, are actually blocking the path to the fulfillment we've worked so hard for? This piece will walk you through 8 things to avoid, like clearing away tiny pebbles that keep tripping you up, so that each new day can feel lighter, fuller, and more meaningful. And here's the twist. Right after number 5, you'll find a hidden gem, a key insight that just might unlock genuine happiness in your golden years. The person by the window smiles softly. A quiet determination starts to stir. What's the very first pebble to uncover and remove? You might be surprised, it's often hiding inside what we consider one of our best traits: compassion and the inability to say no. A lesson in kindness. When saying no is the most loving thing you can do. Mr. Nam, a kind-hearted retiree, was known throughout the neighborhood as the Good Samaritan. If someone asked for help, big favor or small, he just couldn't bring himself to say no. So when Hung, a scruffy young man from next door, started asking to borrow money with one sob story after another, Mr. Nam, soft-hearted as ever, helped him out time and again. But then came the shock. One morning, Mr. Nam discovered that his home had been broken into. Priceless belongings were gone. And the bitterest truth? The culprit was none other than Hung, the very man who had used Mr. Nam's kindness to case the house and strike. Sitting in the now empty living room, Mr. Nam wrestled with a painful question. Was it my kindness? My inability to say no? Did I end up hurting myself by helping too much? The truth? Sometimes kindness without boundaries can become a weakness. The inability to say no to unreasonable requests doesn't just drain your energy, it invites stress, emotional burden, and even danger. Learning to say no isn't selfish. It's a way of protecting your peace, your values, and your well-being, especially in the later chapters of life. After that incident, Mr. Nam slowly started practicing the art of saying no. At first, it felt awkward, guilt tugged at him, but over time, he discovered something unexpected. A quiet sense of freedom. The first time he gently refused a request he knew wasn't right, he smiled. Felt good, like taking a deep breath after holding it for too long. But then another question crept in. If being too agreeable with strangers nearly cost me everything, what about the times I've been too agreeable with the people I love? And just like that, Mr. Nam's next chapter of self-discovery began. Through a clearer lens, the sweet trap of blind optimism with family. Mrs. N, a devoted mother and grandmother, took great pride in her boundless generosity, especially toward her own children and grandchildren. In her heart, sacrificing everything for family just felt right. What she didn't realize was that her unconditional kindness, rooted in endless optimism, could also be a double-edged sword. Her youngest son had let her down more than once with impulsive choices, yet she held on to the belief, he'll change someday. She kept helping him quietly, never once complaining, always hoping. But what did that constant optimism bring? Her son became more dependent, less responsible. He didn't grow up because he never had to. One afternoon, passing by his room, Mrs. N froze. She overheard him chatting with a friend. My mom handles everything, why not enjoy it? Every word hit her like a dagger. In that moment, the truth crashed down on her. Her blind faith, her endless giving without boundaries, had enabled entitlement. Her love had been taken for granted, even exploited, by the very person she was trying to uplift. That moment changed her. Yes, love is necessary, but it must be paired with clarity. Ignoring red flags, staying blindly hopeful with loved ones, can cause deep emotional harm. is not about being less loving, it's about being wiser with how we love. Mrs. N began to set firm boundaries with her son. Her love didn't fade, but now it came with structure, with purpose. And in doing so, she started protecting not only her peace but also giving her son the space to grow into the adult he needed to be. She also realized something else. This clarity, this balance wasn't just for family. It applied to everyone. Is having more friends always better? Or could there be another trap, one waiting for those with hearts too open and guards too low? The circle of friends in our golden years. Better few and true than many and hollow. Mr. Kang was always the social type. His retirement desk was buried in invitations, parties, reunions, dinners. He took pride in what he believed was a vast, vibrant network of friends. But then, out of nowhere, illness struck. And as he lay in bed, day after day, something sobering became clear. Only a handful of people actually called to check in. The rest? Just polite acquaintances, familiar names in his contacts, but distant from the heart. Once recovered, Mr. Kang sat alone in a quiet room, scrolling through that long list of names on his phone. He remembered the loud parties, the flowery toasts. Now, what echoed most was silence, and a deep, unfamiliar kind of loneliness. That's when the truth hit. Not everyone is really a friend. Real companionship, the kind built on mutual trust, shared silence, and sincere care, is rare. From that point on, he began to declutter his social life. No more chasing empty handshakes or holding on to shallow bonds just for appearance. Instead, he focused on the few who mattered. Just a handful. But the conversations were real. The concern was honest. No pretense. No calculation. Just connection. In our later years, choosing your friends wisely and honoring the ones who genuinely show up is everything. It's not about having a crowd. It's about having a core. Mr. Kang smiles softly, holding a warm cup of tea with his closest friend. Fewer but real. This is peace, he thinks. But just as that peaceful feeling begins to settle, another thought lingers. A quiet concern many seniors carry, one that grows heavier with time if left unaddressed. What is it? Well, that's the next truth worth uncovering. A soft pillow for old age. Never underestimate the power of savings. Mrs. Mai, a careful, no-nonsense woman her whole life, slowly flips through the worn pages of her old savings book. She was never wealthy, not even close. But that modest sum is the result of years of careful planning, pinching pennies, and making do. As she sits quietly, memories come rushing back. Her neighbor frantically scrambling to borrow money when their youngest fell seriously ill. A longtime friend constantly anxious because retirement came, and she had nothing to fall back on. Mrs. Mai nods to herself and whispers, "It's true, having even a little put away gives you confidence. It gives you a sense of security. Money, of course, isn't everything, but it is something. It's a foundation for confidence, especially in retirement. It earns a certain quiet respect from your kids. Sure, but more importantly, it gives you freedom. The freedom to make your own decisions. The power to handle a surprise medical bill without panic. The dignity of not having to ask. Too many seniors ignore small health problems just because they fear the cost. But what starts small can turn serious and drain not just your wallet, but your strength. Saving money isn't just about numbers. It's about peace of mind. It's about knowing you'll get the care you need when you need it. And that peace, that's what lets you truly enjoy the simple joys of later life. Just like Mrs. Mai. Thanks to her savings, she was able to pay for early treatment of a health scare and recovered quickly, back to spending joyful days with her grandkids. She breathes a deep sigh of relief, feeling her strength return day by day. Money really does matter, she thinks, but there's something even more precious, something that, once lost, is almost impossible to get back. And that is number 5. The heart of happiness. The treasure no money can ever buy. The greatest treasure in your hands. Health is the golden key to every joy. Mr. Fat, once a proud athlete in his prime, the kind of guy whose strength and stamina made others look up to him, is now past 60. And lately, something's changed. Just a few steps up the stairs leave him breathless. His body feels drained, heavy, unfamiliar. The truth hits hard. In the years after retirement, he let himself go skipping workouts, eating without care, and telling himself it was okay to take it easy. But now, he sees the price. He realizes painfully that he took his health for granted. Worse, he underestimated how vital it truly is. There's an old saying, "Gold is precious, but health is priceless." And right now, that's never felt more true. Health is the foundation of everything, of happiness, of freedom, of enjoying the life you've worked so hard to build. It's not just about exercise or eating right, though those matter a lot. It's also about good sleep, real rest, and keeping your mind in a positive, balanced place. A healthy body, a clear mind together, they don't just help you live longer. They help you actually live. So Mr. Fat makes a choice. He starts slow, gentle morning exercises, simple, healthy meals he cooks himself. And day by day, he begins to feel like himself again. His energy returns. So does his joy. Taking care of your health isn't just a personal duty, it's a gift to your loved ones too. And here's the small but powerful secret. Your mental health matters just as much as your physical. Neglect one, and the other will suffer too. Mr. Fat smiles as he stretches, feeling his flexibility come back. A healthy body makes for a lighter spirit, he thinks. But then another thought lingers. Sometimes, the tension we feel doesn't come from inside our bodies, but from strained relationships with those we love most. So how do we protect that peace? How do we keep love burning bright without letting resentment dim the flame? The family flame. Keep it burning with love, not anger or criticism. Grandma Sao always prided herself on being a woman of experience. She didn't hold back when the grandkids messed up, raising her voice, pointing out their faults, believing it was the only way they'd grow into decent people. In her mind, that was tough love. That was how you taught kids right from wrong. But things didn't go the way she'd hoped. Tension crept into the house. The laughter around the dinner table grew quieter, then disappeared. The grandkids, whom she loved more than anything, began to keep their distance. Until one day, after yet another scolding, her youngest granddaughter burst into tears and sobbed, "Grandma, I'm scared of you." That one sentence, so raw and honest, hit her like a bucket of ice water. Stunned her. It hurt. For the first time, Grandma Sao stopped and really reflected on her actions. Had she mistaken age and wisdom for a free pass to hurt the very people she was trying to protect? Being an elder doesn't give us the right to lash out, to criticize endlessly, or to rule by fear. It only builds walls, not bridges. If we truly want a close-knit, loving family, we need to lead with patience, with compassion, with emotional self-control. So, Grandma Sao tried something new. She began listening more. She replaced sharp words with softer ones. She started praising instead of picking apart. And slowly, something beautiful happened. Laughter returned to the table. The kids came closer. They weren't avoiding her, they were seeking her out again. Turns out, it really doesn't take much, just a small shift in how we show love can change everything. And as Grandma Sao watched her grandkids giggling and clinging to her once more, she smiled. All I did was change a little, and it made all the difference, she thought. But then another thought crept in. Sometimes, love for your family can turn into something else: overprotection, hovering too much, not letting go. Is that really love? Or could it be holding them back more than helping them grow? Wings to fly. Loving your grandkids means trusting them and letting go. Grandma and Grandpa Bay had only one grandson, and he was their everything. Their pride, their joy, their hope. And because of that deep love, they poured all their energy into his life. Choosing his school, picking his classes, even deciding who he should be friends with and what activities he should join. They weren't just involved, they were in control. In their hearts, they truly believed, we're doing what's best for him. We're keeping him safe. But what they didn't expect was how that overprotection would backfire. Their grandson grew withdrawn. He became unsure of himself, hesitant to make decisions, and oddly irritable. Then one day, after being told he couldn't join an extracurricular activity he'd been excited about, he broke down in tears and said, "Grandma, Grandpa, I want to decide my own life. I want to try and fail on my own." That one sentence stopped them cold. It was a wake-up call. They realized that all their worry, all their controlling meant to protect him was actually holding him back. There's an old saying, every child has their own blessings. Don't wear yourself out trying to shape their path like a plow horse. Life isn't predictable, and no amount of hovering can guarantee a smooth road. In fact, sometimes that hovering becomes the very thing that prevents growth. So instead, they took a step back. They began giving him space, letting him make his own decisions, letting him stumble, learn, and rise again while still being there when he truly needed them. And slowly they saw a shift. Confidence returned to his eyes. Independence blossomed. And in that space of freedom, their love grew even stronger. But letting go of control raises another question. Can the same idea apply to all family relationships? Because sometimes, love for family, if blind, can lead to pain we never saw coming. The sacred line in family ties, when love becomes a burden. Aunt Chin was known for her unwavering loyalty to her relatives, especially her younger cousin, whom she treated like a baby sister since childhood. Over the years, she forgave that cousin's mistakes, excused unreasonable demands, and even sacrificed her own children's needs just to help. Her belief was simple. Family means helping no matter what, but life taught her a painful lesson. One day, she was devastated to learn that this very cousin, whom she trusted more than anyone, had been exploiting her kindness for personal gain. Her trust, her finances, and her family's reputation were all deeply affected. The betrayal was a shock to the system. She was forced to confront a hard truth. Family ties, while sacred, are not immune to exploitation. Loving your relatives is a beautiful thing, but blind loyalty, that's dangerous. Ignoring red flags and clinging to toxic connections in the name of blood can lead to serious harm. And here's the irony: sometimes the people closest by blood aren't the most loyal. Sometimes the truest hearts come from those outside the family circle. After that heartbreak, Aunt Chin began setting boundaries. She still loved, but more wisely. She learned to protect her peace, invest in herself, and appreciate what she had without losing herself in the process. She felt lighter, clearer. She realized that youth may be an unfinished canvas, but the later years, that's when you step back and paint with wisdom. So how do you make those final brushstrokes bold, beautiful, and complete? The next verse, life after 60 and the journey to self-made joy. Looking back on the path we've walked, the 8 lessons we've just explored, none of them were about limiting your life. They were about expanding it, about stepping into this next chapter with clarity, intention, and freedom. Remember, each of us is an artist, sketching the masterpiece of our own life. The bright colors, they come from the positive energy you cultivate, the health you maintain, the character you strengthen, and the wisdom you've earned. Don't be afraid. Don't believe it's too late. 60 isn't the end of your story. It's the highlight. Now's the time to let go of what weighs you down and make room for what lights you up. Try something new. Rekindle an old dream. Make a new friend. Start a little adventure. This is your time. You are not alone in this journey of creating happiness. 60 is not a closing chapter, it's the beginning of a joyful anthem. And you're writing the chorus every single day. So what are you waiting for? Start with something small today, because every little moment you reclaim is another bright note in the beautiful symphony of your life.